Is that you as a child?
This was long before your time, my darling. I was in the 9th grade, and I was the guy in the class. When the teacher said something, I would say something under my breath, and the class would laugh. And so they didn't know what to do with me. The other part was the teachers had to figure out a way to keep me from disrupting the class all the time. So we did a play when I was in the 9th grade. We did a play called A Christmas Carol, which was about Ebenezer Scrooge and Christmas past, present, and future and all of that. And I got to play Scrooge. Well, the rest is history.
From the very first time Ted Lange stepped onto a stage, he was hooked.
Love the sound of them words. Promise me you show me what they look like.
I promise.
You know your secret's safe with me.
Not only was he able to captivate his classmates, he had an entire auditorium at his command, laughing at his jokes and watching his every move. And it was then that he realized there was more to this craft he wanted to explore. Needless to say, this was not going to be the only play Lange would star in.
My services which I have done the senior shall out-tongue his complaints. 'Tis yet to know, which one I know that boasting is an honor.
From Macbeth to Othello, Lange was the leading man in many performances.
I didn't see the possibility of a career. However, my drama teacher did. And so here's this white guy, he says, you know, you should think about doing this as a career. And I'm going, really? And he goes, yeah, you could go to Broadway, go to New York, go down to LA, Hollywood. Think about what you want to do. And I said, but there's not that many jobs. He says, don't worry, it's gonna all open up.
Born in 1948 in Oakland, California, Lange called himself a rambunctious kid. Growing up during a time where race relations were tough and opportunities for black men were limited.
Back then we were trying to change the world. Bob Dylan was singing these songs about, the answers blowing in the wind and get out of Vietnam, and things were changing. So I was very lucky in that my high school drama teacher and his wife Phyllis, his name is Tom Wayne and her name is Phyllis, they saw the potential of America, on the playing field, and that something would open up.
Lange was lucky to have a mentor by his side who truly believed in his acting ability and pushed him to pursue his dreams. However, he couldn't say the same for everyone in his life.
They would say, don't, you shouldn't do this. You'll never have a job. There are no jobs. If you like drama, we know you like drama, go to college, get a degree teaching, and teach drama. But they're not going to let black people, there's only a handful of black people on television, and you're not going to make it. Let's be honest, you're not going to make it. And I said, well, my drama teacher says I got a good shot at this. And they go, Tom, you're listening to Tom? I'm going, yeah. And so I had a choice. Listen to these guys that say, don't do it, do something else that's close to what you like. Or I had a choice. Listen to this guy says, I'm going to prepare you. Do what you love. No contest. So anyway, here's the story, okay? I say to my father, I say, listen, Dad, I'm 17. My drama teacher thinks I have a shot at this. I'm going to go for it. My father says, yes, go for it. My stepmother, who was not crazy about me, she says, I don't think you're going to make it. She says, you're not tall enough. You're not good looking enough. You're not Sidney Poitier, so. And my father was like 6'1", fair skin, and she says, your father never made it. What makes you think you can make it?
Being challenged in that fashion only fueled his passions, and at the age of 17, Lange decided to turn a hobby into a profession.
I did Romeo and Juliet when I turned 18. Did that in San Francisco, left LA, went back to San Francisco, did that for 2 years. But in the process of doing that, I was learning craft. I was learning how to sustain a scene and how to act. I was learning how to act. When I was coming along, you had to talk people into integrating things. And when I was coming up in the San Francisco Bay Area, that's what we were about. It was about integration. It was about being fair, because these guys don't play fair. They would say things in auditions that could scar you. Can you talk blacker? They wanted to denigrate you, and that's still going on now. They want to scar you. Okay, so that's how I came into this. I was not going to let them scar me.
Lange realized early on in his career that in order to be a successful actor, he had to have tough skin.
Well, the lowest low is when you're not working and there are no prospects. There's nothing on the horizon. There's nothing happening anywhere. But that's what started me writing. Because I would go in an audition, and I do an audition, and they said, "You were very good." Oh, okay, great. So, well, hold it. What do you mean? So how tall are you? I'm 5'7". You're a good actor, but we wanted someone tall. I said, what are you talking about? If I'm a good actor, you said, well, he's a cop and he's gonna have to get into fights. I said, I've been in fights. You see any scars on my face? That means I won. I won the fights. They go, nah. And they say, but it's a cop, right? You go, yeah. Is he gonna carry a gun? Yeah. Come on, man, you can. And these guys would go, no. So the first 4 plays I wrote, the opening line was, a black guy, 5'7", walks into the room. Boom. And that was what I did. I did plays for myself. I wrote plays for myself.
If he wasn't acting, he was writing. And if he wasn't writing, he was learning how to direct. And if he wasn't directing, he was teaching. Lange immersed himself completely into his craft.
Like what I tell when I teach people is, the first time you read a script, that's how 90% of the people are going to read it. But after you read it 15, 20 times, you're going to see little gems that are character. And that's what you're looking for.
And those gems are what got him to Broadway. Lange had a way of bringing characters to life, and in 1968, he made his debut and starred in the original rock musical Hair. In between gigs and auditions, Lange stayed busy. He attended the prestigious Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts and the American Film Institute. And his dedication to the art would pay off, because his next role would be on TV. Just like the actors he looked up to, Sidney Poitier, Marlon Brando, and Laurence Olivier. When we come back, find out what show took Lange's career to the next level.
Meetings are, well, meetings. Unless, that is, you're meeting in Torrance. Torrance has more than 67,000 square feet of total meeting space. Plus, we've got 1.5 miles of our very own beach, amazing Southern California weather, and are situated just 15 minutes from LAX. And after all your meeting and greeting, don't let the opportunity to explore pass you by. Do some team building and express your artistic side. You could even become a master chef, or just eat like one. And of course, make time to stop and smell the roses. And spend as much time as you can getting in touch with nature. Greet the day and meet the Torrance way. So, are you in?
Lange starred in many plays, but always wanted to transition to television and film. He was cast in the hit TV show That's My Mama in 1974 as Junior, a suave, good-humored ladies' man who lived in the neighborhood.
I don't blame you. Blame me for what?
what, Junior?
Well, man, this gorgeous hunk of heaven. Hey, sister, you got a sister?
This was a major turning point in Lange's career, where he would move from the stage to the homes of millions of people.
Here's the bit. The bit is a guy comes in with a picture of Hank Aaron, and he sells it for $5 to people in the barbershop. So I got a picture of Hank Aaron, autographed. I said, Hank Aaron? Yeah. $5. $5 for Hank Aaron? Yeah. Okay, here, Junior, here's $5. Take the $5, give him the picture, and the guy looks at the picture and says, hey, doesn't Hank Aaron spell Aaron with 2 A's? And I go, yeah. He said, well, there's only 1 A on this autograph here. I say, well, he was in a hurry. And then I leave. Okay, that's the bit. So, Street Hustler. Ray does his. Really good. Okay. I'm getting ready to do mine. And just before we're getting ready to go, the prop guy comes over. And he says, say, we on the crew all made bets who's going to get the part. I go, oh, yeah? He goes, yeah. You're Ted, I'm Ted, my money's on you. I said, wow, thanks. He says, use the phone. What? Use the pay phone. Check the coin return. Okay. So I go in, I do my bit. Boom, 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 get the $5, give him the picture. I'm standing next to the phone. And the guy says, hey, doesn't Hank Aaron spell his name with 2 A's? I stick my finger in the coin return, and I say, well, he was in a hurry, and I leave. But I made sure that I was on camera when I checked the coin return as I'm saying my line. Well, he was in a hurry. Bang. That gave me the role, baby. I saw Ray Vitti a month later. He said, when you used the phone, I knew I was dead. He said, I knew I was gone.
Lange prides himself in treating everyone with respect, especially those working on set, whether it was the janitor holding a broom or the director with the pen in his hands. And it was the crew he would turn to and practice his lines and try out new jokes.
Now, when we did the TV show and we would rehearse in front of the crew, that's how I knew which jokes were working and which jokes were not working, because I listened to the crew. So we would come in and we'd block. And what would happen is we'd come in, run the scene, then we'd run it for camera. Well, when we ran the scene, I would always listen to the crew. If they just smiled, that wasn't a good joke. It may work, may not work. If you did a joke and they went, that was a 30-second laugh. If they laughed out loud, because when you brought the audience in, you sat them down and you worked them up, and you did that joke in front of a full house, they laughed for 30 seconds on this very same line that the cameraman or the prop guy laughed at.
That's My Mama aired 39 episodes before it ended in 1976. Lange was one of the most remembered characters on the show, which aired on ABC. And the network hired him for another television series.
So I went in on an audition, and it just so happens that I like to go to samurai movies, and they were doing a Japanese sitcom. So when I went in on the audition and they said, you know anything about the Japanese culture? I said, oh yeah, absolutely. What do you know? I said, I know about Tamisaburo Wakayama, lone wolf with child. And they went like this, whoa, what? And so I because I like to go to samurai movies, I used that in the audition. And so I got this job as a janitor on this half-hour sitcom.
Mr. T and Tina was not a success and was canceled after only 5 episodes. But with numerous plays under his belt and now a few television gigs, Lange was starting to build a name for himself.
So my agent calls me up and he says, hey, they're doing a pilot about a boat. Now they did one pilot already, but it didn't work, so they want to do a second pilot. Now, it's for ABC. That's My Mama was ABC. T and Tina was ABC. So Love Boat was ABC. And my interview literally was, I went in, usually they give you some sides, you read the sides, right? I went in and they said, oh, the executive producer, network likes you. That's gold if the network likes you. So the network likes you. Oh, nice. You get seasick? No, I don't get seasick. Just, okay, cool. Did you want me to read? No, sorry. You don't want me to read it? No. Just need to know, because if we do this, we're gonna go to Mexico. And I can't have, actors getting sick. You don't get sick, right? No.
Anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore.
Issac Washington from The Love Boat was the next character Lange would bring to life, the role that he is most remembered for today. The show was set on a cruise ship and Lange was ready to shine in the role of the famous bartender.
So my agent says, here's the script, and they're going to give you $10,000 to go do this. I read the script, the character's in one scene in the beginning, he says nothing. One scene in the middle of the thing, he gives somebody a drink, says, is anything else I can hand you? No, that is it. No. Okay, sign here for the drink. And he was in at the end, and he said, bye. That was the part. So I go to talk to my agent and say, hey man, that's not a part. There's nothing there. Now I know why they don't even want me to read. There's nothing to read. I mean, who can say, well, anybody can do that. So they go, so I said, I'm not doing this. So my agent goes, you ever been to Mexico? No. Your girlfriend ever been to Mexico? No. He says, why don't you think of it this way? They're going to pay you $10,000 to have a vacation. Take your girlfriend with you, and while everybody else is working, you get to go see Acapulco. Well, that's kind of a good idea.
But with only a few scenes and even fewer lines, Lange was not very impressed with his new role. And although it paid well and he would have the opportunity to travel the world, he felt more like a background actor than a star on the show.
I just want to be with the rest of the cast. I'm not in the opening of the show. I'm not in the closing of the show. Everyone else in the cast is in the opening except me, and they're in the closing except me. And I just feel like if I'm part of the deal, that I should be there.
The Love Boat revolved around the ship's captain, played by Gavin MacLeod, and his crew, with several passengers all set on a cruise ship. The series would often bring in various guest actors like Janet Jackson, Betty White, Vanessa Williams, and so many more. But it wasn't for another 3 years that Lange would start getting real lines on the series, and he owes it to his castmates.
The first episode that was my episode on the first season, the first year, you know who wrote it? Was Fred Grandy and Bernie Coppell. Because the writers came to me and said, we can't write for you. What are you talking about? You can't write. We don't know what to write for you. We can't write for you. So you mean everybody gets a story but me? Well, it's not that you don't get a story. We just don't know what to write. So Fred and Bernie were in the room listening to this. And they said, well, we got a story. We'll write a story for Ted. That's how I got my first story. Now, what does that tell you?
The Love Boat became a huge success. During the first 7 seasons, the show was rated top 20 and even top 10 at times. Lange served as director and screenwriter on various episodes throughout the series.
The cast was great. And we had to be fun. The great thing about the cast is we all had to be funny with each other, and we all appreciated each other's sense of humor. That's cool. Now, that doesn't always happen in a show, but in this particular show, it did happen, and so we had a good time.
From Germany to Taiwan to Australia, The Love Boat was an international success and lasted 9 seasons over the course of 10 years and ended in 1986.
The show was a monster hit. It just wasn't a hit. It was a monster hit. It changed the world as far as leisure time is concerned. That's what the show did. When we did the show, nobody went on cruises.
During The Love Boat, Lange's personal life flourished as well. He married his longtime girlfriend, Cheryl Thompson, and became a dad.
My oldest works for reality television, and he wants to be a writer, but he wants to be a script writer. My youngest draws. They both draw. Both boys draw. And my youngest does storyboard work for commercials and for television shows.
Lange and Cheryl divorced, but Lange did find love once again, and this time with an art teacher.
When I married her, when I proposed, I gave her a ring with 10 diamonds. And I said, thank you, And that was 16 years ago. So we've been together a long time.
The two moved to Torrance, where he continues to share his art with the community.
So, and I do readings of my plays here over at the Nakano, I go to the theater around here. I really like it.
The work never stopped after The Love Boat. Lange made his appearances on shows like General Hospital, Boys Meet World, Charlie's Angel, and Family Matters, just to name a few. And when The Love Boat came back for a television movie, Issac Washington was back front and center. Lange has also written and directed 25 plays on his own.
What I have to do is produce art for my audience. That's what I have to do, and that's what I've been doing since 1972. I've been producing art, and I got 25 plays under my belt. Art pushes us in directions that changes, hopefully, the human heart. So you can go sit in a play and watch a play and maybe cry or maybe laugh. That's what art can do. You can sing a song that moves you, entertains you, and in the case of Hamilton, educates you. That's what art can do, and that's what our jobs are as artists, and that's a mantle I don't mind carrying.
And after all of these years in the entertainment world, his advice is to be kind.
Be gracious. You don't know who's gonna make it. You have no idea who's gonna make it. Some guy, black guy, 5'7" from Oakland, is gonna be on a hit TV series. You don't know. You just don't know, because show business has its own appetite. And what you think they want and what ultimately they want. They said rap music is never going to work. Do you remember that? They said forget rap music. And then this happens, that happens, boom, bang, boom, bang. And it changes. You don't know. That's the beauty of show business. That's the beauty of it. It's also the horror, but it's also, you just don't know what they're going to want when they want it. Your job is to be ready when it comes. When it knocks on the door, be ready.
Lange fell in love with Shakespeare, and many of his own work reflect that, like his prequel to Othello, The Cause, My Soul, and his interracial version of Hamlet. Lange wants all people to experience what he did when he was a young kid. at a time when he was told there was no room for another black actor. It is because of his drama teacher believing in him that he was able to see acting as a career. And now it is his turn to pass down his teachings.
Because I was in the 9th grade, I did Macbeth, and I had the time of my life. I was 18 and I did Romeo. I had the time of my life. Why should they be denied this? That ain't right. I do it so the universality touches home, so that a black woman can understand Lady Anne talking to Richard III.
Ted Lange is an iconic figure in the entertainment world. He received the NAACP's Renaissance Man Theater Award and the Heroes and Legends Hall Lifetime Achievement Award for his directing work. He continues to bring exceptional plays at the Nakano Arts Center in Torrance, like Freedom Ring. And he is a strong advocate to bring awareness in the need for diversity and push for women and minorities in writing, acting, and directing. The cast of The Love Boat celebrated 40 years in May of 2017. And next year, they'll be honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. For Faces of Torrance, I'm your host, Jesse Pierre, speaking to ordinary people doing extraordinary things.